welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, overall 5-4, but it was not profitable because my best bet lost for one, and I had another play that I bet more than the others, which also lost. So went a little bit backwards yesterday. The best bet for the show did win with the Grizzlies plus 13.5. They didn't need any points at all, but got to do better here today. And we have Mr. Rob Veno to help us out. So Veno, how have you been, and how's NBA been treating you?
Good afternoon, Skee. Good morning for you, actually. Yeah, NBA's been good. Last 7 days on top of the leaderboard at Wagertalk.com, 9-4, 69%. It's been as good as it's been all season, barring the opening. So yeah, seems like we've got a pretty good read. Last night, 1-2 though. I was trying to get my fifth winning night in a row by trying to root that Phoenix game over in, but it did not get there. 226.5 fell a little bit short. Otherwise, we would have had another winning night. But it's been good overall, seeing things fairly clear, despite the fact that, wow, some of these injury reports just keep getting worse and worse by the day. It's very, very difficult right now.
Yeah, it is. And man, he must be your neighbor or something, Rob Veno. This is like the third time in a row that James Bond is winning. And you did not do a show
Wow.
earlier,
No.
so he couldn't
Did
have
not.
cheated.
Nope.
He's getting some info from somewhere.
He's got a spreadsheet or something, and he's
He
tracking
must
these
know your son
games.
or something, or somebody.
Hasn't worn yellow in a while. Let's try yellow.
Yeah, maybe he
Oh
has a
man.
spreadsheet, huh? But congrats to James Bond again. I guess he just keeps getting free lunch whenever Vino's on. He gets the shirt color correct every single week. Congrats to you, James Bond. Let me look at a few more comments here. What up, Ray? He says, don't forget to hit the like button for the show. Definitely helps the show out. Bronson, he says, took a huge hit on the Cavs over myself, 48 point fourth quarter, and that was my best bet. So it's frustrating to watch them, not try to score at the end of these games. And for the first half, it looked really good, but end of the game, we couldn't quite get there. And I'll give a little quick story time with Skee. We started the show by being transparent, right? I was pissed off. I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed off. And when I saw that game ending the way it was, I was already at my spot having my TPs, and I had a little extra or a few extra to help me get through the night last night. So I just want y'all to know. You should know already if you follow me for a while. I bet every game I give out myself. And if you watch me, during the game when I'm watching it, you would absolutely understand that. So I don't want to lose for myself as much as lose for anybody else. Just want to put that out there. Jeff says 10 minutes late. He must be at Popeyes. I have been eating Popeyes a lot lately. My boy Tails said it's winning time. Different kind of winning time right now, but yeah, it's winning time for the show. Let's get to it. We got 5 games on the slate, and we'll go in rotation order like we always do. I don't know if I shouted this out, but Aaron, appreciate you becoming a new YouTube member. And if whatever I do have today, I will share with my members. All right, first game up, we have Atlanta and Dallas. Opened up Dallas minus 11. Now I see him 11.5. Total, though, it's dropped from 231.5 to 228. And injury report, Lively, Josh Green, and Greg Brown all out for the Mavericks. Trae Young, Okongwu, Griffin, and Muhammad. I'm sorry, Muhammad is game time, but everybody else is out for this Hawks team. For the Hawks, it is the front end of a back-to-back. It's their third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th. I mean, Hawks, they got to be tired here in this spot. That's kind of how I'm thinking. They're 5-8 against the spread unrested, although they've been playing good lately. They've covered 5 of their last 7 games. For the Mavericks, front end of a back-to-back for them, but they do have the rest advantage. Still not the greatest of spots because it's their first game back home off of a long road trip. So I guess not a good spot for either team here, Mr. Rob Veno, but I like a little bit more of what I'm seeing from the Mavericks than the Hawks. It's just can we get there with the big point spread? And as far as the total, Dallas has been playing one way, Hawks have been playing another. I'm curious to see which way you feel about it.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to play Dallas over at this point in time. Ski 9 of the last 11 have gone under, and their defense is the reason. I mean, I know you keep or have access to each and every day. You're checking last 5 defensive rating. I guarantee you, Dallas was um, number 2 overall last 10 games heading into the other night. I think it's probably a little bit better than that now. They've given up 107 or less in 11 of their last 12. And I said this before the other day on the Wagertalk NBA show. If they're going to give up 107 or less in these games, the other night notwithstanding, because they lost to Golden State, I think it was 104, 100. But if Dallas is going to give up 107 or less, they're going to go a long way in this Western Conference because they certainly have the offense. They've never had this type of defensive capability. A lot of it, once again, has had to do with Gafford and Lively in the middle, and pointed out to me that PJ Washington has a lot to do with that defense. So I think the game probably, the money's come in on under here, and I can't disagree with it whatsoever. The Atlanta fatigue spot, I agree with you on. I also wonder about the Dallas look ahead to Golden State tomorrow night. That's kind of a big game for the Mavs after they lost 104-100. So maybe get in and get out with Dallas. I'm not sure. Atlanta, for what it's worth, has been playing really good team ball as of late, as noted by their head coach, Quinn Snyder. So it's hard to ignore them at this price. Ski, I didn't play the game. I will say this. If I had to make a play on every game on the board, I would probably play this one under the total, just the way Dallas's defense has been going.
Well, I like this game a few different ways. I waited. I'm taking my time today to get to the window because you guys heard about yesterday, and I don't want to repeat it yesterday. But I was liking it a few different ways. I was thinking if we like an under, it's not because we trust the Hawks defense. It's more because of how the Mavericks have been playing on defense lately. And last 8 games, they've held opponents under 108. And that's the team total that we're looking at here today. 108 still for Atlanta. So I think Hawks team total under makes sense to me, but I was thinking Mavericks should be able to score points. Just based on one, not trusting Atlanta's defense, 2, the spot that Atlanta's in, and just Mavericks still having something to play for. So I guess out of those 3, out of Mavs full game, Mavs team total over, and Hawks team total under, you like the latter, right? Hawks team total under.
I think I like game total under a little bit better.
So you do trust Hawks defense?
No, I just think that if they're up big late, Ski, he might pull guys because of Golden State tomorrow night. I'm a little fearful of that if they're up 16 with 5 left. And like you said earlier when you were talking about the game last night, I hate the way these games end. They end with these subs running around and throwing up bricks and then dribbling out the clock. And it's crazy watching your overs go by the wayside. So I think I didn't play it, but I probably would trust under.
All right. So maybe I'll get there with that Hawks team total under. And I can't help listen to this here, Rob. This is not a big sample size, but goes back to 2022. Unrested non-conference road teams. Not that difficult, right? Or not much put into the query. They are 4-21 against the spread after playing at home. So it's pretty much like a bad travel spot, and probably a game that's not the most important. The over in those games is 18-7. If they were a double-digit dog, they're 0-3, losing by 31 points per game. One of those games was yesterday, the Timberwolves and the Raptors, and that was a beatdown. So that's really making me want to get there with the Mavericks.
Pretty strong.
I can't lie. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Curious, who's liking the Mavericks here? I haven't seen anybody. I know it has to be somebody out there. Any push for the Mavericks from the chat? I see Luka rebounds. Brian says Hawks always give up points. Their defense is trash. Maybe I'll bet all 3. In that Timberwolves game that I mentioned, which is the same one from this one, I bet Timberwolves on the spread. I bet the Timberwolves team total over, and I bet the full game over, and all three of those won. I don't know that I'd bet the full game over here. So maybe I'll go Mavs, Mavs team total over, and then Hawks team total under. That's how I feel right now.
It's funny
Anything
you
else before we
mentioned
move
that,
on?
Ski, because the only winner I had yesterday was 1-2, but the winner I had was Timberwolves team total over, without knowing the analytics of it or the having run a query on it. So interesting that Dallas is in that same spot tonight. Could change my mind with their team total. Have to see.
All right, let's keep going down the list here. I have those three on my short list. You guys know. In this next game, didn't love as much. I'm gonna need some help from Mr. Veno, but Philly and Miami. Miami is a 2-point favorite. Hasn't really moved that much. Total has dropped only a half a point to 209.5. As far as the injury report is concerned, you have Hero out, Butler game time decision, and for Philly, looks like no Milton, Covington, Maxi, Harris, Embiid, and Bamba all game time decision, and that's something I don't like to see. Um, by the way, shout out to Wagertalk in the building. I don't know if you peeped that there, Rob. Let me see. I passed it up. There you go. Shout out to Wagertalk. They said Veno and Skee equals Stockton and Malone. Appreciate you guys over there tuning in. Um, this game here, Heat on the front end of a back to back. I wish I looked at who they play tomorrow. It is a chance for them to get a little bit of revenge versus Sixers, though. I was thinking more. I was kind of conflicted actually. You have, I'll read these stats off. Miami 28-13 to the under off of a win. Philly first half under is 21-10-1 as a dog. And it's just tough for me. I think with Philly, with Embiid back, I just am unsure how to play them. How do you see it, Rob?
I would agree. And I think when forced to make a decision, I came to the conclusion that Miami might be more interested in the game than Philadelphia is. Eric Spoelstra has come out and said he doesn't want to be any part of the play-in, doesn't want any part of play. They want to finish in that sixth spot. And he said that is a goal of motivation for us right now. We can set that as a goal. So you watch him the other night against the Knicks, and granted, the Knicks don't have OG Anunoby. I don't remember if Mitchell Robinson played the other night or not, but Miami did play very well in that 109-99 win. And their defense, Ski, for what it's worth, has really picked it up. 4 of the last 5 games, here's what they've allowed. 41.7% to Cleveland, 45.5 to Washington, 40.2 to Portland, 46.1 to the Knicks. Nobody's getting close to 50% from the field right now against Miami, who's healthy once again. And they've got their shooters out there. So Miami season statistics are always, you might as well just throw them in the trash because they play so many different lineups every single year. Injury here, sitting there, injury here. And it's really hard to put any credence behind Miami's season-long statistics. So going based on what I'm seeing lately out of the Heat, I would lean that way. Joel Embiid, it scares me a little bit. I don't know how cautious they're going to be with Embiid, with Maxey, where the other team is not being cautious with anybody right now. They've got a goal set and they want to go for it. So I do lean a little towards Miami here. Total might be, I also looked at the Philadelphia team total and thought maybe that was a little bit low, but I think overall my favorite of the bunch that you could play here would be Miami minus the short price.
A lot of people in the chat like Bam to hit a 3-pointer tonight. Says last time they played, he hit a couple. And it's a lot of people liking that at some good plus money, like plus 270, plus 300. So just wanted to shout that out from you guys. Rob, I want to come back at you a little bit with something you said. I was agreeing, but then I look at it as far as Miami being the more motivated team. I mean, are they really? The Sixers should be a little motivated too, right? They've now fallen into the play-in. Or do you think they just are comfortable wanting to go and see Boston or the Bucks in the first round?
Yeah, here's what I take just from living in the area, Ski. Here's what I take from everything I hear here on a daily basis is that Philadelphia seems to me like they're playing the long game. They don't mind playing anywhere as long as Joel is healthy. And when you take a look up and down at the Eastern Conference, Ski, how many of those home floors are you really scared of? Other than Boston,
Mhm.
are you scared to go into Milwaukee? Are you scared to go
None
into
of them.
Cleveland, New York? None of them, right? So just listening to them talk over the course of the last 7, 8 days, it seems to me that they want to get Joel right. They want to get Maxey right. And then they'll take their similar to what the Lakers did last year, kind of, right? The Lakers came out of the play in, they really didn't care, but they got healthy and they did some damage. And I think Philadelphia feels the same way. I almost, and I still might Ski, take a shot at them to win the Eastern Conference because if they do get there against Boston, you can always hedge out. But if Joel and Tyrese Maxey are healthy, I don't know who else in that East is going to beat them. So we'll see. But I think that's the difference between Miami's motivation and Philly's motivation.
And that makes sense. As I look at the standings a little closer too, they're right now in the eighth spot, 1.5 games behind the Pacers. I I think they're just fine right there. They're 5 games in front of both the Bulls and the Hawks. They're not, gonna have to go and win 2 games in the play-in. So I think I agree with how you viewed this game. I don't think anybody should fear facing the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, and that's kind of where they're lining up to be. So that makes 100% sense to me. And to hear that Eric Spoelstra doesn't want the Heat in the play-in, that's giving me some more confidence to maybe get there with the Heat. So I like that. I'll lean the Heat with you, and that low total, I guess we'll leave that alone to be determined with Embiid back, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to wait on this injury report, which was crazy the other night. He didn't show up for shoot around, didn't show up to get any treatment, pulls in 90 minutes before the game and decides he's going to play. So it's a little bit touch and go with the Sixers right now.
All right, good, fair enough. Good stuff on that game. I like the conclusion that we came to, and we'll move right on over to 523, 524. Sacramento and New York opened up Knicks -3.5, and hasn't really moved. Total though is dropped 2 points to 214. For Sacramento, we know Herter's out. We know Malik Monk is out. For the Knicks, a lot of game time decisions. Everybody, not everybody, but all of these people: Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, Dwayne Washington, Charlie Brown, even OG Ananobi. And Ananobi is more like probable, very likely, actually. The only people who are truly questionable looks like are Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson. Hmm.
Hmm.
So I'll be honest. I, when I looked at this game last night, I did not expect OG to be back, and I don't know. I guess I was just saying I'm unsure of the injury report. And the Knicks, they've been going over whenever OG is not in the game. And that goes back to, they played unders when they picked him up. As soon as he got hurt, their defense went to shit. And between him and missing Mitchell Robinson, it was just a big lack of defense there. Now, we should absolutely have Ananobi back. Mitchell Robinson, I think, could be out there too. Both teams bottom 10 in pace last 5 games. Kings, I mean, don't look now. I'm going to pull up the numbers because I almost can't believe it myself. Um, but they're actually playing some defense. They've gone under 7 of their last 8 games. And last 5 game stats have them top 10 defensive rated team. Had to make sure. And Kings are actually playing at the slowest pace in the league. That's abnormal, in my opinion, for the Kings. But right now, they're playing slow, playing defense. So if you have that with the Knicks team, who's also playing slow and who's getting some of their better defenders back, I think this is more of an under game here, Rob. I think the total. I mean, it opened low, in my opinion, just for when I see the Kings on the schedule. But I think it's low for a reason. Do you agree?
Yeah, and they bet it down. They bet it down. And to put even more numbers to your point about Sacramento, 10-3. Their last 13 games, I'll put it this way: their last 13 games, 10 of those 13 opponents haven't gotten to 110 against Sacramento, which is really a huge improvement in defense. 11-2 to the under last 13. Knicks on the other side of that coin because of the injuries you talked about. 5-0 to the over last 5. I capitalized on it the other night. Miami Heat team total the other night was 104. 104.5 against the Knicks, and they got to 109. And I got to tell you, Skee, I thought the Knicks were going to be my best bet today. And then this morning, like you said about yourself last night, I saw the injury report and I thought, I can't do it yet. I can't do it. If I'm not going to have Anunoby, if I'm not going to have Robinson, if I'm not going to have Josh Hart, that's can't do it. But I really want to play against Sacramento because I just think that some of the recent slowdown, some of the recent, and that does go hand in hand with better defense because less possession. Sometimes you do drop your defensive numbers. But I want to play against them because no Monk, no Herter for the last couple of games. Didn't show up against the Clippers because the Clippers could care less about playing basketball right now. But with no Monk and no Herter, and I looked at that rotation, and it's so shy on ability to score. And it was all well and good at home, but now you got to take it cross country on the road. And if the Knicks have their defenders in, I think Sacramento has a tremendously tough time scoring the basketball here in this game. So for me, it's still a possibility that I play Knicks. I'm probably going to have to pay a stronger price, right? Because if these guys get announced in, this number is not going to be around very long. So either I bet it now on guesswork that Anunoby and Robinson and Hart are in, or I sit and wait and pay a bigger price later. But to me, the Knicks were the right side here. I just can't see Sacramento against a fully healthy New York Knicks defense. I can't see them scoring a lot here in this game.
All right, so we're in agreement on that. We got some guys in the chat saying they're showing OG out. I've refreshed. I've looked at different sources. OG on my list says very likely to play. I guess it's conflicting. So when I clicked on it, it says he won't play Thursday. So I guess had to actually click on it to see that. Appreciate you guys in the chat shouting that out. So knowing that OG is probably not going to be out there, do you still think does that change how you feel?
Well, it changes the whole thought process, right? Because you talked about it, then I reiterated it. When he's not on the floor, they don't play defense. And if he's not going to be there, and now you worry if Mitchell Robinson isn't there, they won't play any defense. And now 213.5 starts to look a little low, 214, because that's easily attainable. And the Knicks have done it the last 5 games. So it's amazing how much difference those OG for sure, and then Mitchell Robinson behind him, how much those guys change my thought process, at least when it comes to handicap in New York. And it may be a game I've let it go so far. I may just have to let it go totally until we see what's going to happen here tonight.
All right, one last question here, Rob. We have guys saying Anthony Roman says Kings max motivation to stay out the play in. I mean, I feel like the Knicks are motivated because the Knicks,
Sure.
I mean, seeds 5 through 3 are only separated by 1 game. There's a lot of movement that can be done for the Knicks, and they could have home court. So I think they'll be motivated for that. And also, they've lost 3 in a row. I think they definitely want to get back on the right track. And the Kings, yes, I understand that they may want to stay out the play-in. The standings are close there too, but I don't know. I just think which team do we trust more? And I have a hard time trusting the Kings, especially with their recent injuries. So, do you have an opinion? Who's the more motivated team? And who's the more motivated team?
I don't even know that there is one, Skee. I think when they're both highly motivated, which they both are, the chat laid out the case for the Kings. You laid out the case for the Knicks. They're both highly motivated. Knicks have home floor. Kings are coming across country. Again, one of the main reasons why I want to fade Sacramento, and maybe it's better to do it tomorrow against Boston because they do have back-to-backs. They're going to go to Boston tomorrow. But that with how many? I mean, Malik Monk is the 6th man of the year, right? Pretty much. And you don't have him or Kevin Huerter. They both play that position. And it just makes the scoring load that much tougher on those other guys. I don't trust those other guys, to tell you the truth. I mean, outside of Fox and Sabonis, it's not a trustable team. Keegan Murray, some days yes, some days no. So that's one of the really main reasons why I want to be against Sacramento here on this road trip, motivated or not.
I think I'm with you there, Rob. So we'll take that and we'll move on down the list. 2 solid games to end the night. 525, 526. Warriors and Rockets opened up. Warriors -4 hasn't moved. Total sitting right at 228. Injury report. Shingun out for the Warriors. You have Sarek out. Both Kaminga and Gary Payton are game time. Gary Payton Jr.'s or the second is more likely to play than Kaminga. So this is an important game. You have what is that? The is it the 10th seed in the West and the 11th seed in the West? The Rockets chasing the Warriors. We've seen what Eason put out his video say Warriors come out and play. We've heard Draymond respond, and last I heard was Draymond saying he can't wait to end the Rocket season here tonight. I know which team. Actually, I'll start off like this. My first thought is I don't like going against teams who are really hot and are motivated, and that is absolutely the Rockets. They've covered 14 out of 17. However you want to call them, Jalen feed the family green. He's been crazy ever since that kind of news has gone out. And looking at the Rockets, they're what 26, 11, and 1 against the spread at home. They've been great there. Warriors, though, they've been playing good basketball too. They've covered 4 out of 5. This is the road they've been good in this year, 13 and 4 as a road favorite. I guess it boils down to, this seems like more of the playoff game for tonight. Which team do you actually think is better? Which team do you trust more? That has to be the Warriors for me. It's just that simple. I don't think Houston is proven enough. They have been hot, but if you tell me that you're getting 100% focus and effort from the Warriors team, I think they get the W, and I think they can get it by more than 4 points. Now, on the same note, Rob, I'll talk about the total. You can choose which one you like to talk about. I think it's more of an under game. Talking about how important this game is, Golden State has been playing a lot more unders and a lot more defense lately. I know the Rockets have been doing some scoring, but I think this is the game where both teams have to lock in defensively. So under and Warriors would be the ways that I look in this game. Do you agree?
I would. The second thing I had on my list today, Skee, was the Golden State Warriors, and it probably will be the one thing that I definitely get there with. Again, where the motivation stands, this is more than motivation. I think this is elimination right here. If Golden State wins, and to Draymond's point, he wants to end the Rockets season. If Golden State wins, they have a 4-game lead over the Rockets with 6 to go, basically lights out. If the Rockets win, they're only 2 games behind with 6 to go. The Rockets have done their best work at home all season long. 27-11 against the spread at home, 13-7 home dog. That's 65%. So they're tough to go against. But I will say this, they closed to within 1 game. And then their last 2 games against playoff teams, they could not get there, right? They lost to Dallas by 18, followed that up, lost to Minnesota by 7. And you just wonder if Houston's too young and inexperienced in these spots to handle the situation. When I look at Golden State really quick, it's interesting, Skee. And I remember from a couple of years ago when you would tell me, and I would not listen when Golden State played Boston, but I never fully believed in Golden State as a defensive team. But when you watch them for the last 5, when they decide to lock in, small or not, because they're small, they've held opponents to 92, 93, 97, and 100 in 4 of their last 5. Houston's not that great of a shooting team. If they don't get transition, they don't just come down half court and drain shots mostly. I mean, they could on any night, but they don't. And I trust that Golden State defense. I have to cross my fingers because it's a game where Draymond's on one side and Dylan Brooks is on the other. And you don't want Draymond getting thrown out because something's going to happen. Those two, they can't help themselves. But I do like Golden State. I just think that, and their road stuff lately has been tremendous out of Golden State. On the road, the game where Draymond got thrown out, let's use that for an example. They're in Orlando. He gets thrown out 3 minutes or 4 minutes into the game, and they still found a way to win that one in a very, very tough venue. So for me, I like Golden State here. I think that's probably one play that I will get there with today.
I like it. And a couple more things here. You mentioned how good the Warriors defense has been lately. I believe 4 of their last 5, they've held opponents under the team total that we're looking at today. 112 for Houston. I mean, I think that's the play. Houston team total under. Houston's defense has been solid, but Warriors defense has been better. And I would rather play against the Rockets offense than the Warriors offense. You're in agreement with that?
I am, and I could add one last thing that I didn't say before, but the Jonathan Kuminga injury, just reading what Steve Kerr said about it earlier this morning, if he's not ready to go, he won't go. He's very comfortable playing Trace Jackson Davis, the Indiana rookie. And I think they're a better defensive team when TJD is out on the floor. He's definitely more of a shot blocking type guy. Kuminga probably more of an offensive guy. But Kerr said that when his team is going good, generally he won't put a starter back in. He'll just let the team that's playing well stay out there. So we could see Jackson Davis in the starting lineup again today. To me, that helps the defense, and probably just the case that I'm building probably just enhances that for Golden State minus the points and potentially what you're saying, Rockets under.
I like it. UCapper says first half under. And there was somebody else who mentioned, I think, a first half under in this game. And I could see it. I just want to glance at the number. Full game is 228. First half is shaded more towards the under with 111. And it makes sense just as far as trend wise. You have Houston 53 and 22 to the first half under. Golden State first half under on the road 25 and 11, 69.4%. Both these teams a little bit more like slow starters. So, any opinion on that, Rob? Would you prefer first half or full game, or don't really matter to you?
The technical numbers are good, and I would add to it situational. This obviously has all the makings of a playoff atmosphere. And generally, when we bet playoff games, they come out fully motivated to play defense at the start. And so I think that it makes total sense, right? If you're going to get playoff atmosphere, you kind of lean toward under first half in those instances. So for me, I think that makes a lot of sense in two fronts, the trends and also the situation.
All right, I like it. I think we did a great job on that game, and we have one game left. A lot of good information today from us and the chat. 527, 528. Nuggets, Clippers. Opened up, and my bad, I'm still on the first half here. Opened up Nuggets minus 3.5. Looks like 4 across the board. Total, though, it's up 3 points to 221.5. This must be the game Rob ran to the window with this morning. You have Kawhi out, Primo out. You have Diabate out and Miller game time decision, but they're both very likely to play. For Nuggets, a lot of people are probable. I'm just trying to make sure here. So Jokic and Gordon are very likely to play. Looks like Jamal Murray is a true game time, along with Najee. And I'll be honest, this is not one I was super interested in playing. But I'll tell you this. One thing I'm 100% not interested in doing. You know what that is, Rob?
Playing the Clippers.
I'm no way. I'm not betting the Clippers here. It's Nuggets or pass. Clippers are in a bounce back spot, but it is their first game home after a little bit of a road trip. They haven't been good in this role all year long, 4-10 against the spread as a dog. And just not a whole reason for me to like the Clippers here. It'd have to be a damn good reason for me to even consider betting against the Nuggets. That's how I feel about both the Nuggets and the Celtics. So at this point, it's Nuggets or pass for me. Can you make any case for the Clippers in this game?
I can't. In fact, I tried to make this morning the best case I could for how to play Denver. Denver is a team that's motivated here, right? Tied for the number 1 seed in the West. And all three of those teams, Denver, Minnesota, OKC, want the home floor. Denver wants everything coming through that altitude. Minnesota wants everything coming through their place. OKC wants everything coming through their young, energetic crowd place. So it's a real battle. And Denver has shown it since the All-Star break. They've been tremendous. I don't want any part of the Clippers, who seem like they don't really care. They seem like they're very, very comfortable where they are and as if they're never going to lose that 4 seed. We'll see if Dallas can catch them. But LA hasn't played with any type of urgency. I got their Skee with the Nuggets team total. I thought 112.5 was light. The Clippers haven't been playing a lot of defense, and I don't know what your last 5 game defensive numbers read, how low they are or how middle of the road they are, but even last 10, they could be weak as well.
Last 5, For the Clippers, they are 28th,
Yeah,
third
and
worst.
so third worst defense, and I'm talking 112.5 with a really efficient offense that cares. I know Jamal Murray's sitting on the injury list as questionable, but I think in a game like this, he'll probably play. Nuggets need it. OKC losing back to backs has really helped Denver here as far as closing in on that clinch of the one seed. So they're all in a dead heat up there. I think Denver's the right side. But if I don't want to lay it, how can I play them individually? And I think the best way to play them is the total over 112.5.
I can't argue against that. I mean, that Clippers defense has been bad for a little while now, and that is a very, very reasonable number. So I think that's a good way to approach it. Nice work there, Rob Vino. And the chat, they're asking, do we go Nuggets first quarter? I'm not the big quarter better, at least until the playoffs. But I would think the Nuggets come out the gate. I mean, they have the better starters out there, etc. Jokic gonna be on the floor for the entire first quarter. I don't know how to talk you off of that bet. All right, we got through the entire card, and it only took us 36 minutes. Now it's about that time where we move over to the best bet segment. And I have to say, we'll get back to you guys. Still drop your best bets in the chat. I know I didn't recap today, and you guys, if you put two and two together, you should be able to figure out why. But I'll get back to regular scheduled programming next week, and we'll recap those bets. Uh, Vino, is there anything you would like to promote? We did have Wager Talk in the building earlier. And also, is there maybe a play you like a little bit more than the rest?
Yeah, we'll definitely promote. We always know Wager Talk has eyes on us, so let's make sure we get that out there. For those of you and those of you who are here every day, every show, when I'm here, you hear it all the time out of my mouth. But again, for those that might be new and not heard it yet, or maybe not signed up yet, go to wagertalk.com, drop your email address. That's really all it takes. You'll get instant free access to all the video content, written content provided over there at wagertalk.com on a daily basis. List of very respected handicappers trying to put you in the right direction in every sport that's being played, basically, right down to, I don't know, our colleague Andy Lang, he covers everything. English darts. I mean, there's nothing that they don't miss over there. So once again, email address, wagertalk.com. If you're interested in selection packages, mine are always up and available on my homepage at wagertalk.com. Skee, I could put two and two together because I've been with you before one night where I can't even remember eating that cheeseburger at the end of the night. Way too
That's
many.
how yesterday was. Yes.
Too many tequila pineapples ingested on that night. For best bet, I'm going to go back to what we just talked about, Skee. I really think Denver over 112.5 was more than reasonable, considering the state of the Clipper defense lately, considering the state of play of the Clippers lately, and considering that Kawhi Leonard's not on the floor, who's probably their best defender, arguably their best defender. So for me, it's going to be over 112.5 team total with the Denver Nuggets.
All right, good stuff there. I like that bet. And for myself, I haven't placed a bet yet. And there's a few that I like quite a bit. So I'll say this. I'll go with one that I'm confident I'm still gonna like at the end of the night, regardless. And win or loss, I'll feel good with it at the end of the day. May add, and I probably will add a lot of the other things that I talked about, but this one I'm ready to make right now, and that is if everything's on the line, a game that's important to both teams. I'm going with who I trust. I'm going with who I think is better. And I saw in the chat they said Skee living in the past, but hey, I guess they'll have to show me tonight. Give me the Golden State Warriors minus the 4 points. I think they get the job done by margin. And Vino, appreciate you taking the time to come cap the games with us and share all the great information. You'll be back tomorrow, correct?
I will.
And we can talk some a little bit of college as well, even though I'm tired of them damn kids. But appreciate you, Rob. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys bring a lot to the table. Always want to let you guys know you're appreciated, and we always have a great time on the show. So love it here. Best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all your action. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.